The program you are about to hear is a production of the River's Edge Radio Network. The River's Edge can be heard 24 hours a day with the best in local Pittsburgh music at riversedgepgh.com. The River's Edge, your voice for local music. Enjoy the show. My next guest you can hear 24 hours a day at riversedgepgh.com on the TuneIn radio app, and you can see him every week in Irwin, Pennsylvania. Are you still going to that?
Oh, yes.
Still going to that? Yep, that's a Colonial Grill.
We have a great time down here with Kenny and all the guys down here.
Thursday evenings. Yep, we have Mark Cyler here in studio.
Cyler.
Okay. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a blues artist and a phenomenal music. We're really happy to have you on the network. And
thank you so much.
It's helped expand what we're doing. So, yeah, so tell us a little bit about your music.
Well, our band, Lost Coins, is a blues-based rock and roll band, and I've always loved the blues, and the Rolling Stones Keith Richards is sort of like my mentor in a musical sense, and always wanted to put some kind of musical crew together that would pull off that kind of sound, and I think I've done that with the Lost Coins. And we're doing some gigs out here. I'm a little bit more diverse, though. I do write some other things. I've been influenced by country stuff, the older stuff. Actually, I started out on stage in bars as a drummer in a country band, Larry Wayne and the Wranglers. I mean, you know, hey Larry, I hope you're hearing this.
That's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, were you always into? Were you always into music, or what kind of introduced you?
The Beatles, of course.
The Beatles. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're a Beatles fan. What?
Yeah, I still like them actually. A lot of jazz people frown upon the Beatles.
Really?
Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah.
The ones that are the really good jazz guys can appreciate some of the things that they've done musically.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's sort of an oil and water thing in a way, at least locally here, that horizontal versus vertical sound kind of thing.
Sure. Well, I think with the Beatles, not only did they influence the music world for their music, but also they made things popular. You know what I mean? They were such a popular force, and they really added some of the other
They were more
elements.
than music.
They were more than music, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I think that's really where they kind of changed the music industry, where there was this craziness about them. You know what I mean? This fandom.
Rock and roll, you must have heard the story 1,000 times, Brian. Rock and roll was fading out. The 50s rockers, you know, like Chuck Berry and Little Richard and all these guys, for one reason or another, they weren't rock and more of a slicker kind of, I don't know, I don't want to use anybody's name. It's kind of a slicker, kind of a vocalist thing, not like the self-penned material that the Beatles did. It's kind of going back to that now. You're getting back to single artists, where we're more. Even though I'm a solo artist, I mean, our band, we work together in the sense that the way the Beatles or the Stones might have approached it, a combo sound. If I could be,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting the way music is going, and it's weird because I think on the local level you get a lot of bands that like what you're talking about that work together, and you get a lot of really fantastic groups. But you're right, on the national level, it's all a lot of solo artists, and I think that has to do a lot with the culture, the industry and the culture that we're moving into. Everybody wants a celebrity, but then also there's this sense of narcissism in our country now, where everything's about me and my name has to be out there, and nobody worries about the brand or the music. Everybody's worried about getting hits on Twitter or...
Everybody's a rock star. Everybody's a rock star.
Everybody wants to be.
Everybody has a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a good thing. But
well, it's a good thing that people are
interested
in music, yeah. But what's your priority? Is your priority making good music and entertaining people, or is your priority to bring traffic back to yourself just for the self
I know exactly what you're talking about, Brian. It's a little bit of both. I mean, I'd have to be a liar to say somewhere along the line I became a musician not because I wanted some kind of attention. I'd have to be a liar.
Well, sure. I mean, everybody who performs in any kind of aspect wants some sort of attention.
I dress a little different than your average person.
Yeah, yeah. No, but that's cool. But that adds to your personality. That's what makes you interesting.
I would agree with that. I try to do that.
But at the same time, like for example, I always rail against what Veterans Day has become in this country, where instead of it being people thanking veterans, it's posting statuses and fake sappy poems on Twitter or Facebook to try and get likes and comments, because it's really about drawing attention back to me.
Like forgetting Jesus on Christmas.
Exactly, it's the same type of thing. And I feel like you get that a lot with the music
you get a lot of
industry.
that with everything.
Sure,
I can't tell the difference between a Lady Godiva commercial and the new singer. I don't know the difference. When I see him in Billboard, I go, are they advertising underwear or is that a singer? I don't really know. I have to figure it out sometimes. I got to read the fine print.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I love what you guys are doing down at the Colonial Grill. I've been able to go down there. That's a really a fun time. Yeah,
my.
It's exciting. There's so many great musicians in one spot.
Kenny Blake. And,
yeah.
Oh my, yes.
How did that come to fruition? Is that just
Dave Ernie and Maria Ripper are the founders of that.
Okay.
And the club owner Gary, I'm not sure if it's
Santa Meyer. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Brian.
That used to be my place back when I lived in
Oh,
Irwin.
you mean you're like...
I'm from Irwin originally.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
So, yeah,
so you've heard of the famous Gil Snyder and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
Yeah, Irwin is that was my hangout down at the Colonial Grill. Actually, before the blues nights, they used to do a karaoke night there.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
I went there when karaoke was new to the Colonial Grill, and there were a few people there, and I kept bringing my friends in. Then it became huge. It actually became such a big event that I stopped going because it was.
They forgot who you were.
Yeah, it was like too much actually.
Hey,
and
there's what's his name? Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, right. And then it started to die back down, and then that's when he decided to change, directions.
Yeah.
But no, it's awesome, and I like the way it's set up there, where it's actually out in the dining room. So if you're in the bar, you can still have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
But then there's tables out there if you want to get a close-up view of the bands as well.
It is a restaurant, so we do respect people's personal time. If they want to talk, they can go to a different room. And
Sure.
And if you want to rock out, front row, there it is.
Have that opportunity as well. So what kind of shows do you guys have lined up?
We're going to be doing a show at the Tugboats Bar, Tavern, I think it is, Tugboat Tavern. March 12th, I believe. We're going to throw together a little blues, rock and roll thing for them. We're going to do a little trio down there. And that was March 12th, I believe. We've got an April 22nd thing at the Hard Rock Cafe coming up. We're going to do like a 60s retro show. We've got 3 different bands. They're going to be in that. April 22nd for that. And, I do some solo stuff, and I do some duo stuff with the bass player.
Okay.
Acoustic stuff.
Now, is that a similar style, or what do you do for the solo?
Well, the solo acoustic stuff would fit in more of an Americana vein. And on the CD, Blue Eyed Babies, you'll hear some Americana overtones, like hillbilly, and some blues tones that aren't real slick, B.B. King kind of blues, but more rural kind of, like Muddy Waters or that kind of. It's still electric, but it's still got that basic, raw, primitive sound. I find that if you go back in musical history, if you go back to the roots of country music and you go to the roots of blues music and you get to the heart of both of them, you're going to find a lot of songs that overlap. And the rhythm sections back then were all the same. You'd have your upright bass, you'd have, the band that would back up Elvis could easily be the band that backed up Little Richard. Not easily, but
yeah.
Little Richard, but those guys were hot, God, oh jeez. I like to bring some of that rock and roll danceability back to the public where I see that's missing. I see this big gap between rock and roll dancing and dancing, whatever you would call that.
Yeah,
That
sure.
light plastic music that people like to.
Well, I feel like even
I
like
no names.
no, but I look at the rock music, for example. And
Okay, yeah.
there's a lot of great music, but you're right. There's not a lot of danceable music. It's
And
more,
rock.
Yeah, it's especially like even on the local scene. There's the music's fantastic. We're
It's
privileged
good.
to listen to it all the time, but
It's not rock.
not all of it. No, yeah, and it's
a lot of it. Yeah.
and it's also, like you said, you can't always dance to it. A lot of it's more performance where you're watching the stage and the music doesn't really lend itself
A
to
concert situation more
Yeah.
than a club kind
Yes.
of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have. That's definitely something you'll see a lot. So yeah, I'm excited to check what you guys have out. Be sure to send it to us so we can put it on our Facebook page and
Very good.
everything else. But yeah, so what's the future looking like for you and your group? Where are you guys looking to move
Well,
going forward?
as far as Mark Cyler is concerned, I'm going to come out with my next CD this month.
Yes.
That's
Or
awesome.
next month, it's going to have a country Americana feel like my first CD, Turnpike Hillbilly. It's going to lean more to that kind of sound. I don't know, I'm sort of like, I don't want to say it, but like Neil Young in the sense that you could see Neil going from rock to this acoustic thing back and forth, and it's all good, you know. And I'm kind of in that same kind of a quagmire. I go back and forth, you know.
Mm.
So there are a couple acoustic style numbers on Blue Eyed Babies, but I had to make the drummer and guitar player happy, and they want to rock. What's that? What'd you put that on? My guitar player, Dennis James from Australia, you know, make up your mind. You want to play country or rock and roll? I go, oh yeah, well, I don't know. I want to be.
Gotta be diverse,
I want to
right?
be an original.
Diversity, yes. Diversity is
Which is hard to do in a little town, because the country people think you're too rock, and the rock people think you're too country.
Mm-hmm.
We had one of the first rockabilly bands ever in Pittsburgh back in the 80s. We were called the Craze, and we had a write-up in the press and stuff. We were probably the only rockabilly band in Pittsburgh. We had the upright bass player, and the Stray Cats were on a roll, and we did everything we could to be the opening act for them at Stanley or wherever it was, and I had to turn a videotape from beta to it was technical.
Yeah.
And I got it done, and it turned out that we were managed by the Caesar and Engler. We were called the Craze, and it turns out that we were too much like them, but we also had a keyboard which I played. We had a fuller sound, so they didn't want us to do it. We got free tickets for the show, and it was really exciting. It was like a Beatles show. We're four guys there, and all these girls going. Just think they could have been screaming at us, you know. Oh, geez, the things I do.
Well, I like that diversity, and I think that's important, especially in music. People don't realize you can expand your horizons, and that's one of the things that I've tried to do here is where we have the Spring Hillbillies, which is more like a banjo type of group, all the way up to Claymore, which is heavy metal. Now we're adding some hip-hop into the station. That's going to be coming soon as well. So
makes the world go around, buddy.
It does, yeah, and it keeps life interesting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And people listen to the same music. I feel like this station, and that's what I'm trying to be, is an outlet to people to expose themselves to new music and experience different varieties of
You
music.
are the musical messiah of Pittsburgh. I thought I mentioned that before. I don't know, but I hope I'm not going to get a lightning bolt striking me for using the word messiah. But I think you can use that word in different contexts.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but I've been waiting for something like this to happen, because you can see I'm trying to do things in a format of an album
Yes.
concept. Today it's singles.
Singles. Mm-hmm.
Right along with me. It's single, you know. And I like the concept of albums like back in the 60s.
Sure, yeah.
They took you on a little trip, you know, Sgt. Pepper's and all these things, you know. Some people are still doing stuff like that, you know, but
Yeah,
that's
if you
what I
look
like.
up on the ceiling, you'll see all sorts of albums we have here.
Oh, they're doing it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's CDs, but there's still that collection. You know what I mean? It's done a lot of times in the same.
I really appreciate the fact that you're trying to bring that around. YEP does that, but you know, they do, sometimes they do it, sometimes the other stations will play your stuff on certain radio shows. But what I like about the River's Edge is that it will give everybody a shot, you know, unless, you know, you're one of these guys that your band is the computer, you know, you really don't know. Even then you might be fooled, but I think you have some
I have a little bit of a musical background, so
You're from near Irwin, what more can I say?
That's right. So.
We'd rock out there, baby.
Yeah.
Gil Snyder and everybody out there.
Yeah, and it's great, the diversity here, because you've got, we even have big bands. We have one big band group that's local. Yeah, they are the Neon Swing Experience. So we'll play one of those songs. Maybe after this interview, we'll play one of the songs, and you could check that out.
Yeah,
as well.
that'd be very nice.
Yeah, no, good stuff. So, all right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I'm excited.
You want me to play a little bit of harmonica?
Yes, if you could, that'd be great.
Pittsburgh Blues. Oh yeah, thank you so much, Brian.
Yeah, definitely.
Brian
Looking forward to it.
Crawford.
And the again, the album comes out next month, correct?
Yes.
Get us the details. We'll definitely show up for that.
You will be the first to get it,
all right,
Brian.
then. Mark Cyler, great blues artist here in Pittsburgh on the River's Edge. We're going to play a song for you. Then up next, we're going to end the show on a serious note. I'm Brian Crawford on River Talk on the River's Edge Radio Network.